2 days. Am I going to merge this with this? There's some overlap here. Well, let's see. Personally, it's obvious that we wouldn't, right? Because the value isn't overlapping. But how can we check? We can always open it out and we can actually see it here. That the market came out and yeah, I agree it went up, but it never formed any balance here, did it? Look at the J&K period, it just went straight up. It basically went imbalanced right up through it. But the point was, the bulk of the day, what did it do? Balanced outside of the main balance. So I'm not going to merge those two. It's obvious, right? You're not going to merge them. So with these grey areas, I'm going to repeat the point that I said before, which is that I got no issue where there's grey areas if you merge and I don't merge, and at the end of the day, all power to you. That's why in a professional firm, not everyone makes it, because people sometimes do. They don't make decisions that generally the rest of the market agrees with. I've obviously been making the right decisions, but sometimes I get it wrong, and it's okay, because those days you might get it right. So don't despair. It's just over a period of time. Yeah, I happen to be, in the most humble way I mean this, very good at identifying these areas over periods of time. There's going to be days where the market doesn't agree with my definition of value, and I'll only find that out the next day when the market comes and trades the RT8 session. It will obviously give me that feedback in terms of actual trading, but that's my point. Individual days, don't worry too much. Just realize over time through your own trading. The only reason I'm saying all of this is because the points where I will tell you is if you start merging this with this, obviously I'm going to say, okay, look, do you know what? Maybe we need to go back to the drawing board. Because here you got balance here and you got balance here. Why are you merging these two? Okay? And that's not a criticism at all. It's the first time you're doing it. Even if you're doing stuff like that, it's fine. My only point is I probably will be telling you, look, it's wrong. But where you've got these grey areas, and I might merge, you may not merge, as we saw before, who am I to tell you you're wrong? The market will tell you, okay? Remember that. Don't be shy and, start having confidence in your abilities and looking for market feedback on that. And the market will be the best judge, because other people will tell you whether where you've identified their perception of value is correct or not. Okay, so I apologize that I went on a little bit there, but I felt it was important that I say these things as they crop up in my mind. So personally, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't merge these two. This, to me, I think it's pretty good. I feel like that area, and actually we could kind of call it that area. I'm going to merge these, okay? I'll tell you right now, I'm going to merge these. If you want to, obviously, at the start of your career, if you want to do all these little tests every single time, that's great. And in fact, I'd suggest them. But I will tell you, I would merge these, because I know when I merge these two, they're going to look like a nice distribution, I think, and I hope I'm not wrong. Like I said, check them. Do you see? Look at that. Beautiful. What it is, I could tell, I mean, obviously, don't forget, I've been doing this for years, yeah? I could tell straight away, because think about it. What's this area doing? It's just filling in that chunk, isn't it? I could see it straight away. That's what it was doing. But that's why I always give these guidelines to people, is I say, look, do you know what? Until you've seen 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, God knows how many I've seen, probably hundreds of thousands I've seen of these things. Till you develop that, obviously check them. Check them anyway. How does it look? Does it look balanced? Yeah, brilliant balance. Very, very nice balance there. So I'm going to merge those two. Okay, so we've basically gone so far. That was balanced there, that was balanced. This, are we agreed? You wouldn't balance it. Okay, this and this is a tricky one. Very, very tricky one. Now, I think I already looked at this earlier, and I probably would balance these. And I think I did say this earlier, we were looking at this section. But honestly, there's no right or wrong answer. For me, over 2 days, again, for the reasons that I described before, I think that this area does fill in this area quite nicely, right? And hopefully that's the case. Let's merge them together. But I'll show you why you could actually, Can you see that? It's very, very nice. And actually the market feedback the next day that's pretty decent, isn't it? Because look, you got some nice morning opportunities at the RTH Open to play some imbalanced trades down, and then obviously it came back in. So I do like that. And I believe earlier in this section I did say that. But there's no right or wrong answer, okay, on this one, because you could also argue that, do you remember what I said? What's the market trying to achieve? You could argue, and I think very strongly and fairly, that the market has rejected this value area low, isn't it? I mean, and I think the market's given good feedback here that a lot of participants agree with you, you know. And you'll notice one of the things you can do if you don't have any composites to work off is you can just use the previous day's value, okay? And the market kind of agreed with you. It was a bit messy, wasn't it? But I don't know. I've given you my reasons. I actually think what the market was trying to achieve here is just fill in this gap. It's a bit more of an advanced thinking because obviously I've been looking at this for years, and I just got a feel, I think I know what the market's trying to achieve here, is it's trying to fill in some of this stuff. What it is I said to you before that sometimes you get profiles like this where the market will just blatantly come and fill this in, but where it's not so obvious is here, where actually if you think about what it's doing is that gap is actually very subtly there, and what the market's done is it's just basically filled that little section in there, and that's what's happened here. That's what I personally would merge it, but there's no right or wrong answer, you know. At the end of the day, if you said to me, what it is what I don't want happening, and I noticed that, and I said to you, the failure rate was 80 to 90%, even in professional circles. When I became very senior, obviously I used to have a lot of junior guys, even in professional environments, walk up to me and say, what would you do in this situation? Where I was trying to help out some of the younger guys and showing them what I was doing in market profile. And a lot of them would say to me, what would you do? Would you merge this? Would you? End of the day, in these grey areas, what ideally I want you to do is I want you to say, do you know what? Envy, I think according to the guidelines I've given you, the market's trying to achieve a shift in balance into this area, so I'm not going to merge them. So I can't argue with you. You've given me a very good reason and you trade it that way, and let's see what the market tells us the next day. What's the point of people? What it is I noticed this when people say, what would you do? What's your rule for merging in this? Do you see? That's why I use an indicator. Where's the edge? If it was obvious, every algorithm in the world would be doing this and there'd be no money to make. Can you understand that? You've got to sometimes bite the bullet and say, do you know what? I'm using my critical thinking. The way that financial analysts read, which call them the performers and the financial statements of companies, and then look for intrinsic value to be wherever they think it is, or basically price to be away from where they think fair value is for a stock price, individual stocks. If you think about it, company stocks, people are looking at these things, very subjective. The best analysts are the ones that use some sort of critical thinking and look to see where they think that things are, or the market may give them feedback that they were right because they identified something that maybe someone else hadn't ahead of when the rest of the market realizes it. So really, that's what it is. This is giving you a great opportunity to do that. You know, when you've got some easy indicator that everyone has, come on, there's no edge. If it was that obvious, everyone would be using it and it'd be on a beach. This stuff is giving you a great opportunity. And I know I keep saying it, it's just because I want you to realize how golden this is as an opportunity to develop alpha, as opposed to you being downbeat and thinking, no, you know what, it's not clear, I don't know what to do. If it's logical and you can think of a good reason to merge, merge it. If it doesn't make sense to you, don't merge it. If you want to have a discussion with me, happy to do that. But it should be from a place of, do you know what, I noticed this, it wasn't very clear. What do you think? And I'm going to say, yes, a good analysis, try it. But like I said, if you're down here and you're merging with that, don't really make sense. Or if you're just looking for some rule for me to tell you whether these two should merge, you're not going to find it. You're in the wrong business. And that I'm doing you a favor by telling you that, because no one's going to be honest with you. So I gave you the reason why I would merge them. You got to make that decision yourself. Okay? And there is things that we can look at later where we can obviously look to almost split this out. Look, split profile here. Do you see that? And I can merge. I don't need to do this right now. Do you see? I can actually start to split stuff out. The thing is, do you know what? I'm quite hesitant to even start. I'm going to show you doing this stuff, but I'm going to be honest with you. I did that whole process that I just showed you there about splitting letters out. I did it for, I think about 3 years, and I dropped it. I don't do it anymore. The reason I'm in two minds about showing you is because I want you to go on that journey, and I want you to figure it out for yourself whether it works for you or not. For me, I just found it's just trying to be too precise with imprecision. Essentially, the market's not perfect. Do you know what? I just said, do you know what? If it looks okay to me to merge, I'll merge it. If it doesn't, I won't merge it. I don't do all this. The first time I'm telling you, I don't do all the splitting stuff out. But I'm thinking the reason initially I thought let me show you is because I thought let me show everyone. Let them split stuff out, go on that journey themselves and figure out whether it works for them. Because I did it. I had the benefit of that. Then when I was doing this, I thought, actually, maybe I shouldn't, because obviously I don't do it. But actually, I am going to show you because I do want you to do it, but just not in task one. Let's leave that until a little bit later. Let's just get you merging for the time being. Profiles. So essentially, I've merged those two. So like I said, it was 50-50. This I'm not going to merge the next day. Let's just do a few more days and then I think we're pretty much done. Okay, so I'm going to take it up to here, and I think I've pretty much covered all bases, haven't I? So this and this, I'm not going to merge them. This, am I going to merge it with that? No, easy decision. This, am I going to merge it with that? No, easy decision. Clearly, balance was here, balance was here. I'm not going to merge them. This, easy decision, merge them. Do you see, a lot of the times it is easy. It is easy. I just wanted to show you some tough areas because when I'm not there, you're going to be stuck. So I thought, let me show you some. Let me just be fair and go through them one day by one day by one day, rather than just looking for particular areas. And that's why I got. I'm apologizing because I realized I was I was looking for stuff before, but you know what? At the end of the day, I wanted to show you that this is what I go through every day as a trader. This is the very foundation of what I'm doing every day. So we didn't merge that. We didn't merge that. Potentially, I could merge these three because it didn't really go anywhere, did it, for those 3 days? So what did I say? Just merge them. See what it looks like. Does it look like it's got the symmetrical Gaussian shape, they call it? Do you see that? Do you see that? It's amazing, isn't it, how the market does this? This is auction market process. This is the auction process at its finest. Can you see? I told you I wouldn't have merged those two, but can you see how we had this and it needed to be filled in. Look what happened. Market filled it in beautifully. Anyway, we said we'd look what the 3 days look like, so let's merge them. Yeah, do you see? I don't like it. I don't like it. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it when I saw it anyway, because so we had this area, we've got this and this, which obviously we did merge, and that's why I called it 3 days. Actually, it's 4 days. You see, what it is I don't like, I'll tell you why I didn't like it, okay, is because you have value here, you've got value here, and you've got value here, but can you see you've got this bit of value here? And almost you could say it was here. And I don't like how this is very much outside of where the main value area is. You've got this little chunk here. I don't like it. It's very subtle. You might be thinking, what is he talking about? It's very subtle. What it is I can almost, because you've got to understand, I've done these probably a million times, so I can almost visualize how it looks when you combine them. Don't get me wrong, I still combine them at times just to check them out. Why not? It takes a few seconds. But the point is, you can kind of see. You see that prominence there? Just didn't like it, basically. You can see it really, I just don't like how this area sticks out a lot. And anyway, you got another problem here, to be fair. Even if I had merged them and looked, I wouldn't. Yeah, look at that. What's the problem? Can you see it's two distributions? So you kind of got this, which I don't like anyway, because you've got this little bit of prominence there. And then this you've got, can you see it's two distributions? And to be honest, that's an even more important reason than me just being finicky about that. Is essentially you've got a value area here and you've got a value area here. There's no merge, guys. Right? This is one of those where I probably would, if you came and asked me and say, should I would say, look, in my opinion, that's not correct. It's not statistically a balanced proposition. And not even statistically. Forget about statistically, logically. There's no balance. There's two balances. Clearly the market was balanced here and balanced here. There's imbalance in this area. That makes sense. So I'm not going to merge them. However, I do believe that we would start to merge it when we get into this area. I do like that. Because if you think about it, we've got these days here now. Look at that. It's really filling in this bit of low volume that we saw when we merged the 4 days together, right? So let's merge. Do you remember you can either do merge profile begin, and then here, merge profile end, and then merge them. We'll do them one by one anyway. Merge, merge. So do you remember I said I probably wouldn't merge this, that I wouldn't merge it. But then when you bring that in, it should probably start to fill that in. Even though you've still got that, I'll be honest with you. Do you see it can be quite subjective. For me, okay, we've got this little bit that needs filling in, but I kind of like it. Because what it is, right, I can see what the market's trying to achieve. Right? Can you see that? This is what I'm saying. Why I don't mean this in an arrogant way. Actually, I'm saying this because and I hope you see I'm trying to help you. I think this is really what differentiates sort of even people coming into professional environments, and why you do have this fact that a lot of them weren't able to apply this thinking. Okay. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I want to give you an example of that type of thinking that they can't teach you, okay? They can't teach you that. Okay, so let me give you an example. They may be able to show you, and I may be able to show you, guys, look, market profile, value, this is what the market's trying to achieve, all the stuff we've done in auction market theory, but you know, at the end of the day, it's a day in the S&P 500, a new day, and you're going to rules-based. Like I say, merge them, see how they look or whatever. But ultimately, okay, I understand I said here I probably wouldn't merge these because it's still quite prominent, the fact that there's two profiles. But then you might ask me, when I merge the next profile, it's still quite prominent, but at the end of the day, I'm also applying a bit of logic and critical thinking and saying, hang on, what's the market been doing for 4 days? It's gone nowhere, right? What's the market actually done here? Okay, I told you I didn't like that bit sticking out at the top, but what has the market clearly told me? It's almost like here the market's talking to me and saying, Envy, I agree with you. That area wasn't ideal, but look, we're going to show you that actually the value is here. Because why? The whole day traded in this area that I was considering for the last 4 days. So do you see, that's where I'm applying some sense that, okay, do you know what? This market is rotational in this 5-day period. So I'm going to trade this day within balance of that day. You know, okay, it wasn't ideal from a statistical perspective according to the guidelines I gave you, but this is where you can add alpha. Because to me, it's quite clear. What is the market trying to do? It's trying to rotate, and look what happened here next day. So I like I said, I would merge these. There's no right or wrong answer. Honestly, if you didn't, you're not going to be a failure as a trader or anything like that. It's ridiculous. But I'm just trying to give you an example of decisions that you can make over time that will be the difference. You know, if you keep doing this over and over and over again, obviously you're going to be able to generate great alpha by trading this day as a rotational day, right? These are going to be my contextual levels that I'm going to be looking at to trade off. So, you know, if I get some excess here, some absorption, I'm going to be looking. If I get excess here, absorption, I'm going to be looking to do mean reversion. Can you see that in these contextual areas? So look, that's enough there. You know, we can do some examples as well. In fact, what I'm going to do after this is, let me just go back to the slide, make sure that I've covered everything. And in fact, what I haven't covered is this. And I haven't covered this. Okay, so I'm going to end this section in a second. Let me just set up this RTH chart and show you something that I used to do to help guide me. I don't do it anymore. It's up to you if you want to do it. I'm not going to use it and show you because I don't use it. But I'll show you what I used to do early in my career sometimes, which was kind of helpful for me anyway. But I don't know. I don't really use it anymore, so it's up to you whether you use it or not. But so give me a second, let me just bring that up. Okay, so what I've done here is I've loaded up here an RTH chart. Do you remember I said you can use the basic RTH chart? So you can see it's got gaps basically here to here, open to close. And basically, if you think about it, what is this chart? This is the market profile, isn't it? Period. Because as I said, it's the RTH. So all this represents each market profile period, if you think about it, what we've just been looking at. And I hope I've got these dates lined up correctly. So can you see here, Thursday the 7th is that. It's basically this, isn't it? And then the next day is there. and so on and so forth. So basically, one of the things that I used to do is, if I wasn't sure about a particular, how I said that, I would merge these days, even though it didn't look quite clear when you merged them. Well, let's have a look. So what I would do is I'd say, look, the 7th to the 13th is this. 7th to the 13th. So can you see? Guys, basically it's about as clear you're going to get. Balance. Right? I don't actually use this, but I guess it kind of shows. My point that I was trying to make to you about why I was thinking to myself, hang on, well, all right, I don't care if my profile looks a little bit, wasn't that bad, but you see my point. I'm going to use a bit of logic here and say, well, actually, what have we actually been doing for these days? And you can see it's very clear here on an RTH chart. So, I'll probably put this in the template if you want. I'll give it to you. You can just have a look at the individual days. And sometimes by looking at what the price is doing and what it's trying to achieve, gets you away sometimes from being too rules-based, is my point. So I used to find that useful. I don't use it anymore, but like I said, I want you to go through the journey. So by all means, if you want to use that, use it. I don't, but thought I'd give you that little tip. No one told me to do that. Just seemed logical to me. Let me just go and have a look. What does it look like on a scrunched up price chart? Obviously no indicators, guys, yeah, just literally pure value price action. Kind of stuff we saw on the Amazon stuff I was showing you with the bread and the Cadbury's cream eggs. And do you remember we had price literally just going like that? And I said, well, do you know what? Value's kind of 70% in that period, and just different perspective, isn't it? It's nice to look at two perspectives, and it can kind of, sometimes you can start to get a bit too stuck in your ways with one, and I've used to find this really useful many years ago. I'll be honest with you, I dropped it now. No. Like I said, I've obviously developed that critical thinking now, but, it takes everyone time, and it's good. I think it's good to look at it in that way sometimes. If it's not clear to you, then you can look at that. But I don't do it anymore. But again, like I said, free tip, for me to give you. And then the final thing we are going to end now is long-term versus short-term. The reason I've put that there is because basically I have no idea. Again, I don't want to just cherry pick examples. I want to see if I can actually find you a good example of this. Just undo all the merges in the chart. It's what it is you'll get like long periods of time when they're in this, like sorry, beg your pardon, my mouse has given up. Sorry, my mouse had a moment there. What it is you'll find long periods of time where basically the market won't really go anywhere. But I'm not going to merge all that area because of my time frame perspective. So just give me a second. I will. There must be somewhere on here where we've had that type of period. Probably do need to, like I said, I like to look at this stuff in blocks. All right, there you go. There's a good sort of example of it, but we'll have to scrunch it up a little bit. Right, so actually I'll have to move this because I think my head probably, that should be about right. Perfect. So look, this area here, because the market didn't really go anywhere. Let's Let me do that again. So you can see from a sort of, if you were intraday player, you'd probably have balance here, then you'd have balance here, a couple days, you'd have balance here, 3 days, then you might merge this whole area here, and then you'd have some balance here, right? Because I'm an intraday player, I'm looking for what? Day opportunities to play from there down to there. That's a good range, 10 points, 30, 40 ticks in the ES. And then I've got 2 days here where I might be looking to obviously play this range. Or if I'm going imbalanced, I might just be looking to do that. The thing is, we got to realize is actually, to some people, that entire thing is balance, okay? Do I merge all of that? No, I don't. But there's nothing wrong with it, because if you think about it, that's actually balance, right? If you think about it, this whole area here, it's just balance, isn't it? For someone with a longer term perspective. So if you're a longer term trader, nothing wrong with thinking, shall I actually look at, what is it, up to there? I've never done it, so I don't know what it looks like, but it's not bad. It's not bad, actually, if you think about it. And look, the market feedback was, it agreed. I know that you've got a lot of areas that need filling in, but look, at the end of the day, it's not bad, to be honest. That top area probably isn't, sorry. So when I say top area, the value area low is pretty accurate, right? Value area high is probably a bit higher, somewhere like there. It's actually pretty accurate. And if you think about it, what's the market done? It's rejected this area of balance, fundamental shift, and look what's happened. Come straight out of this area and actually come back and tested it. So some great opportunities to actually play this down if you're a longer term player, is my point. So what it is that's why I put that on the slide, because I just thought there might be some people who identify, I said that. Do you remember I did say that probably could be a little bit high, whatever it was. And look, the market agrees. Look, there are some great opportunities to play the edges. Market feedback, guys. I've never done this before. So as you saw, I was looking for examples randomly. It's not cherry picked. First time I've looked at this. If you're a higher time frame, as you call it in retail, I call it obviously a different perspective. There's a word for it. It's called OTF. If you read the market profile books I told you about, it's other time frame participants. But actually, for me, it's more guys that are like real money funds, people who are playing longer term strategies, even longer term hedge fund strategies that are playing this. But clearly, look, do you remember the edges? You and I, we might be playing, do you see imbalance here? Someone on a bigger perspective, they wouldn't. They'd be playing this as a rotational play right up to the other side. So I just wanted to make that distinction. Obviously decide what you are. I personally wouldn't do a merge like this. Like I told you, it's all perspective. I'm obviously an intraday person. So for me, I'm not going to look at that as one. I'm going to look at it as, a few days balance. So balance here. Oh God, sorry. Balance here. Balance here. Balance here. Balance here. Whereas someone else, look at that whole area as balance, is my point, and I just showed you that. So look, that's the end. Task 1. I want you to spend a couple of weeks. What I'm going to do straight after this is I'm going to obviously show you how the splits can work, and I'll do a little bit more with maybe some S&P and also definitely crude oil, and show you how I would necessarily approach merges, and you can have a look at that. And that will then form part of task 2, where I show you how I actually identify them using this horizontal square, which will then be shown on my chart. So I'm going to show that to you as a supplement to this, but essentially this is the end of part B. Start to just merge profiles, get used to the software. Incredible software. Can't believe this thing, how much it costs, because I'm telling you, to do this type of work on Market Profile, even on CQG, which is several $100s, you know, up to $1,000 a month if you want to spend it. It doesn't come close to this. This thing is instant, and it allows you to merge profiles in such a easy manner, you know. So yeah, enjoy it. And look, finally, I do want to apologize because I feel like I've been a little bit disjointed, but not in a bad way in this. And you've got to remember, this isn't theory anymore. This is practice. So I hope you can appreciate that rather than me going away and finding a list of 10 examples and then I can show you everything. I've done it on the spot. So I can show you what I go through every day. It hasn't been, in my opinion, disjointed. Actually, it's been better. That I've had to be a little bit aimlessly looking around for things, and because that's how it is in trading, you know. Don't let any educator or whatever give you cherry-picked examples and have them prepared. It's all nonsense, okay? At the end of the day, market's going to be different every day, and that's why I thought, you know what? Let me just go and look for stuff whilst I'm actually filming, because then they'll really get a feel for how it can be difficult and subjective every day, but a great opportunity to generate alpha. So let's get you merging, see how you get on with that. Obviously get you doing that, no necessarily time limits, maybe a couple of weeks or whatever. And then I'm going to introduce obviously VWAP. I'll try and put some more examples straight after this, but don't wait for that. There'll be a template, and yeah, just get cracking with letters, blocks, whatever, and then see how you get on. Cheers, guys.